Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to play poker. A poker table consists of a minimum of 2 players and a maximum of 10. The players play against one another with the primary goal of winning chips, which equate to rankings in tournaments, or real money in a cash game. There are always 3 chips on the poker table, which are the dealer's chip, the small blind, and the big blind. If, for example, the big blind is €10, player 2 will place the small blind, which is half the amount of the big blind, or €5, and player 3 will place the big blind of €10. The 2 players place their bets before they receive their cards. Note that a big blind is equal to the minimum bet of the table. Once the small and the big blinds are placed, each of the players receive 2 cards face down, which they hide from the other's view during the showdown phase. In this phase, the players place bets depending on their hands and the game situation. The first round is always started by the player right after the big blind. In our example, it's player 4. Three potential decisions are available to each player. A player can call, which means they will pay an amount equal to the current bet. A player can raise, by betting more than the amount of the last bet. If a raise has already taken place during a betting round, a re-raise is possible. A player can fold, which means they lay down their hand and turn in their cards. Let's say player 4 has decided to raise. Player 5 calls. Player 6 calls. Player 1 calls. Players 2 and 3 add only the difference lacking to the raise of player 4. The set of chips bet by all the players form what we call the pot. After each hand, the pot goes to the player who has the best hands or to the only one left playing after all the other players have folded. The pot is sometimes split when 2 or more players have equal combinations. Now that all the players have made their choices or decisions, 3 cards will be dealt, and these are common cards. This is what we call the flop. The players present the best combination made with the cards that they have in their hands with those on the table. It's a new round. The first to play is the one who has the small blind. The players will again place their bets and try to win the pot. Let's look at an example. Player 2, who is the first to speak, checks. By checking, the player announces that he doesn't want to raise. Player 3 checks. Player 4 also checks. And this time, it's player 5 who raises with €60. That means that the other players must add at least €60 to continue, otherwise, they have to fold. Player 6 pays. Player 1 decides not to continue and folds. Player 2 folds too. Player 3 pays and player 4 too. A fourth card is dealt for a new round called turn. Another betting round is made at the turn, with the same rules. Check, then bet or fold. Once the bets of the turn finish, a fifth card is dealt for one last round, called the river. The players make their last bets and raises during the river. Finally, it's time to reveal the cards to determine who is the winner with the strongest 5-card combination. In our example, it's player 3 who wins the pot. Now that you know how a poker match is played, here are all the possible hands, from the weakest to the strongest. When a player has 5 unpaired cards, the best ranked card is played. The highest card possible in poker is an ace, which would beat a king-high hand, and so on. If 2 players don't have a combination, the one who has the highest card wins. The next hand in poker is a 1 pair. This happens when you have 2 cards with the same value and 3 cards with other different values, which are called kicker cards. Between 2 hands of 1 pair, the hand with the highest pair always wins. A pair of aces is the best 1-pair hand possible. If 2 players have the same pair, the player with the highest kicker wins. After the 1 pair, we have the double pair, which is formed by a pair of cards with the same value and another pair of cards with another value. The fifth card is a kicker with a third value. The highest possible double pair is one with a pair of aces, a pair of kings, and a kicker queen. The chances of getting 2 pairs hand are about 23.5%. A 3 of a kind is composed of 3 cards with the same value and 2 unpaired cards. The chances of getting a 3 of a kind hand are about 4.83%. A straight is formed by 5 consecutive cards in sequential rank, but not all of the same suit. The ace may count either as a low card, as in ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, or as a high card, as in 10, jack, queen, king, ace. A flush is the 5th highest hand. It is composed of 5 cards of the same suit, but not in sequential rank. Between 2 flushes, the hand with the highest card wins. A full house is a hand containing a 3 of a kind and a pair. A full house of 3 aces and 2 kings is the best possible full house, and would beat a lower-ranked full house. A full house beats also a flush, a straight, or any other hand ranked lower on this list. The chances of getting a full house hand are about 2.6%. A 4 of a kind is formed by having 4 cards with the same value. In Texas Hold'em, if the common cards distributed are 4 cards of the same value, the player with the highest card face down wins. A 4 of a kind is strong and rarely beaten, and the chances of getting such a hand are about 0.168%. A straight flush is composed of 5 cards of sequential rank, and of the same suit. It is essentially a combination of a straight and a flush. This powerful hand is rarely beaten, but in the event of a confrontation between straight flushes, the player with the highest card wins. A royal flush, also known as royal straight flush, is the best possible hand in poker. It is composed of an ace, a king, a queen, a jack, and a 10, all of the same suit. This unbeatable hand is very rare, and the chances of getting a royal flush hand is 0.0032%. Here is some advices you should keep in mind while playing poker. 1. Reduce the number of hands that you play. The more hands you play, the more you increase your chances of losing. You should know that a low percentage of hands represents a strong percentage of success during poker matches. 2. Another poker tip. Change styles. Don't play using one single player style, such as adventurous or conservative. Change styles and try to adapt your game to your opponents to maximize your chances of winning. By changing game styles, you can mask your hands better and surprise your opponents when the right moment comes. 3. Know the probabilities. This third tip is essential to this card game. Knowing the probabilities or the poker strategy will reduce your chances of losing. 4. Know your opponents. Learn your opponent's gestures and mimicry. But also learn how not to be fooled. 5. Bet intelligently. The most common mistake in poker is to bet too much or too high. Maybe you are sure you will win the pot, but, unfortunately, even with a 4 of a kind with aces, you may still be beaten by a straight flush. 6. Pay attention to the player's position. The positions, also known as turns, are very important in poker. In fact, you won't bet the same way as you will be before or after your main opponent. For example, if you are in the later betting round, you will have seen all your opponents bet and can react accordingly. 7. Adapt your bets to the match. One of the poker tricks is the way a player bets, because it has a substantial effect on the behavior that the other players will consequently adopt. If you bet too high at a small table, none of the players will follow you and you won't win much. If you bet too low at a table of big players, then the opposite will take place. They will bet high and can make you fold. 8. Take breaks. You may become tired during the game. Don't hesitate to take breaks, especially when you start piling up losses. 9. Use bluffing wisely. Bluffing all the time is not playing poker. Bluffing in poker is just one of the techniques available. Only bluff when it's necessary. Also know how to identify the moments when another player is trying to make a bluff. 10. Don't exceed your limits. Don't bet money you are not willing to lose. Gambling may be very dangerous. Good luck to all.